welcome back, guys. This will be for part 2 for the motor reassembly. The oil pan's already cleaned, it's painted, it's put onto. There's a new gasket. I'm glad I ordered another one. The company that it came with said it wasn't an oil pan gasket, but whatever. To me it is. It's the same exact thing as the other one, but the holes are just slightly off, so I didn't mess with it. I'm assuming it goes for the other part, which I'm not messing with either. But it's on. Everything else is pretty much ready. I didn't mess with the inside of the head. I know I should wipe it out. I will as we reassemble. But the bottom part of the head itself is all clean. The valves look brand new. Very, very little carbon was on there. And as in the teardown video, you've noticed that, like, I found that there was, somebody's been in the motor before. So keeping that in mind, I'm starting to really believe that maybe this motor was rebuilt. But let's go ahead and start getting this video going. So the top of the cylinder is all cleaned up now. I re-wiped out my cylinders, and then I just went ahead and put my new head gasket on. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to put the head itself onto the block, and we'll use our new bolts and we'll get it tightened down too. Got the bottom of the head all cleaned up nicely. Valves look like they're pretty much brand new. I just had to clean them up just a little wee bit. I mean, I didn't even use anything crazy either. So let's get it on. The head's up on now. I got some of the cleaning done. I'm not going to go too far in depth because it, for the most part, pretty much is clean. I pulled each lifter out, inspected each one. I also put some of the assembly lube on it as well, so they're nice and lubed up. Now we're going to get ready to put the new head bolts in. So the kit that I ordered these from, it's from Big 3 Gaskets. But anyway, Evergreen Parts and Accessories. It came with the entire master gasket set. Here's my new head stud bolts, whatever. We're going to get them in and get everything torqued down for those. And then the next one we're going to be doing is getting ready to put the rocker arms in. And then cams. So this project's actually coming along quite well. As you can see, the head's been painted too. This is all clean. It's just the camera makes it look crappy. And then there's the oil pan down below. So it's going to be a clean motor regardless. If there's a leak, we'll definitely find it. I put the new crank sensor in as well. Here's the new head gasket. You can see there, and it sticks out there and there. So, but anyway, let's continue. Okay, whenever you go and install new head bolts, you're going to want to soak the threads with some motor oil, which I have in just a spray cup cap. But anyway, it's going to be a 4-sequence turn. The first one's going to be at 25 foot-pounds, so I'll go ahead and I'll grab my torque wrench, and I will go ahead and get that set up as well. So I'm going to try something different. My wife a while back got me this digital torque wrench. I've never used it until now, so I do have it set for 25 foot-pound. And I already did one test, and actually it's pretty cool how it works. Let me see if I can get you set up and you can watch. So little man, he's going to actually help hold this. But I used my drill. I put it on so there was no torque. Zipped them all down real quick just so they were tightened. And we'll go ahead and we'll demonstrate with this.
Where am I now? Right, beepy.
It will beep. Hold on.
Okay.
That's 20. 25.
25?
Yep. Here, let's do one more. Let's show them. Try to follow that screen. Watch your screen. $25. 25 foot-pounds. They're all done now. They're set at 25. This second round, we're going to go 50. And I think I'm going to start at my opposite corner. So since I started here, we're going to go from doot, doot, doot to here. So we'll come to this corner, and then we'll just start zipping from here. And then for the third time, which I won't show, we do it all over again at 50. And then for the fourth step, I'm just going to use my breaker bar and turn each bolt a quarter turn. And that'll be it for the head. Well, at this time, step 2 and 3 are done. Step 3, again, just to go through each bolt again, make sure it's set torque down to 50 foot-pounds, in which it is. I also went and grabbed my torque wrench just for shits and gigs, just to see if it was accurate, and by golly, it was. I am 100% sure that these are all torqued down to spec. Next I'm going to do is just put it on my breaker bar and turn each bolt a quarter turn, and we're done bolting the head down. And just like that, the rocker arms are in. They're completely cleaned. I put assembly lube on them as well. One thing, if anybody's actually going to do this, you need to make sure that no pistons are at top dead center. So just keep that in mind. I'm already sure of that. I turned mine back half, so I already done that, so I'm not worried about it now. I just figured let that comment be in here as well. Let's get ready to put some cams in. So I had a little mishap. Right here, I was tightening this bolt down to 12 Newton meters, and it fucking broke. Thankfully, all I had to do was just take everything on this side apart again. And it had enough up past the threads, or it had enough out past here, that there's a couple rounds of threads I was able to get vice grips on, and I was able to get that bolt out, so I didn't have to do no drilling or nothing. And thankfully, going through my bolt bin, I was able to find these bolts. Same length, perfect threads, like, I'm very lucky. So the one bolt that was boogered up will be replaced, and the one that I just broke will be replaced. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this shit back together and see you shortly. Hey guys, so welcome back. It's been a few days. Since the last video that I recorded, the bolts have been replaced. 1, 2. So I ended up making an error after reading on Carbide, because I was going to my next step. the manual that they have for the 2.4 turbo motors didn't say anything about like filling the lifters up with any oil or nothing. And as I was reading on down the page, well, I guess in this case it would be up. It stated when you go to reinstall, make sure you fill your lifters up with oil. Closest to that I did is I put the assembly lube. Granted, there's quite a bit there, but just to be safe, I have been dumping some oil into the onto the top of the lifters. I'll show you. So yeah, there's little ports in the lifters for oil to get into. So I've been drizzling some oil on top of those, try to get some oil into it. The next step I think that I'm going to do is finish getting the old valve cover cleaned up, which I'll show you here in a minute. Pretty much it just needs washed, dried real good, blown, whatever. And then we can get put the gaskets into we can get the gaskets put onto the valve cover, and we can get the valve cover put down on. And then after that, I would say it might be getting time to at least get the backing for the cams and stuff put on, and get more assembly done on the motor, try to get the accessories on. But thankfully I've been using enough of the assembly lube. I'm not going to be running the motor as soon as I wanted to. There's just been too many other things going on. I wanted to have this car done by the end of the month, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to make do with what I can. I'd like to have the car done by the end of June. I'd like to at least have it so I can drive it one damn day before the end of the year. Some of this is kind of my fault for taking as long as I have. Some of it's natural, life. And then just me being a good-hearted person. I try to help everybody else out, and also with work, I've been getting stuck for 56 hours straight at work, so by the time I get home, it's already after midnight, and we get up in the morning, get up with the kids, and usually we have a doctor's appointment for either the wife or for one of the kids, and soon it's going to be for me. I'm going to be getting new glasses, so like all this crap that you see will hopefully be gone, but I'm going to keep them around because I definitely need a special pair just for the garage. And I don't want to go out and, spend a bunch of extra money that I don't have. Or that I guess I do have. I just don't want to waste it. So I'll keep these old ones around just for the garage. That way I can keep my good ones, better. But mainly I'll use these if I'm like grinding, welding, painting, whatever. So, but yeah, I'm getting a little bit of an update. So... But, yeah, very few of you that are actually watching this, I do want to take the moment and thank you again. I know this ain't nothing fancy, but it's something that I can share, with somebody. And I've read enough, like, I ended up just taking a few days and reading as much as I could on the Carbide website. And then printing some of the stuff that I kind of need. But yeah, let's get back to it. Let's get the valve cover. I'll show you what it looks like. And I do have some before pictures. Most of you that actually watched the video know how scummy and crappy it looked just because of the fire. But it's looking pretty good. I should get more paint. It was painted. I thought it was the one from... Modern Performance, but it's not. I'll show you how I figured that out. But I mean, it's still orange. It'll match with the motor, so whatever. I'm happy with regardless. So yeah, let's look at it. So I got the first layer of cleaning done. It's just kind of really hard to get in here to get the rest of the fire extinguisher and any sort of oil and residue and stuff out. But regardless, I mean, it looks really faded on camera. It just might be because of my LED light, but it's like it almost matches the motor. It's just this looks brighter. I don't know if it's because of the lighting or what, but I know the motor obviously is a little darker. But this on camera looks just way too bright, and it's not that bright, I can promise you. I was really hoping this would clean up, but yeah, a lot of it just peeled off, so I'll try and get it cleaned up as the best that I can. I took the PCV valve out. I wanted to check it to make sure that it was good, and it still is. There's no damage done to it regardless. I checked the other PCV valve. I'm going to keep it on the shelf just as a backup. I should replace it, but I'm not going to because it functions fine. The ball moves and everything as it should. Okay, so I got the oil pressure sensor. It's all cleaned up. I even threw some Teflon tape. So that can go in now. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it, but I want to show you something. So I got a tool set, or a socket set from Harbor Freight. It had a 27 millimeter. Because I wasn't sure if my oil pressure sensor was different. I read on the forums it's 27 millimeter. So I bought one. And, which I bought this guy. It's a 27. But watch. It does not, it don't even lock onto it. And it's 27 millimeter. And I bought this one from, I think it was Advance Auto. But my cheap one from Harbor Freight goes on and it's nice and snug, and I can tighten it. So I'm going to finish tightening this up because I don't want to forget it. And we'll go ahead and I'll get back to cleaning the valve cover. Well, I got it as clean the best that I can. There's still some stuff down in there. And then the paint. Earlier I mentioned how I thought this would have been one that came from Modern Performance, but it wasn't. And I told you I'd show you how I knew that. So here we'll just come across a paint run. I probably could repaint it, but the paint for it's actually really expensive, and I don't want to put too much more into it. But it is not like, this is very sad to me. The thing I done is I got my valve cover bolts all cleaned up. I thought about painting them, but they actually came out well, so I don't think I'm going to. I am going to take some time and put new gaskets into the bolts. That way those are all set. Another thing that I done is I got this sensor put in up there. While doing so, I also made sure that the backing and behind where the sensor was all nice and cleaned. If I'm not mistaken, this sensor has something to do with like radio or something, but on the forum somebody had an issue with this to where their car didn't run. In case if that was a problem with the part that was on this motor, I went ahead and pulled it off my other motor because I knew it ran. I drove the car in. I really do wish I had video of that. That was a very exciting moment for myself, but we're going to keep trucking. I have some brackets that I need to finish getting cleaned up, and I want to get them painted so they look all nice and clean too. But now it actually looks like an engine with the valve cover on. Maybe down in the future, down the road, I might go ahead and pull this back off and clean it. But I think just to freshen the letters up, I'm going to lightly take my drill with a wire wheel and just take some time and get all the numbers and the lettering cleaned up. I've gone this far to try to keep everything nice and clean and make it look as good. So this would be one detail that would just, in all honesty to me, would just ruin it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you my bolts. And try to get the old gaskets off because I tried looking at the new ones. There's like a little metal sleeve or a spacer of some sort. I'm going to call it a sleeve. I cannot get the sleeve off. I got the gasket off though. The little rubber thing that sits in here. So, and there is a brand new, I'll show you. Brand new valve cover gasket. Lightly, carefully put this on. So, yeah, we'll be back in a bit and we can look at the bolts. So, I had to pull the valve cover back off anyways because I forgot to put these seals in. And I would have been pretty angry to not put those in and have quite a bit done. But anyway, new valve cover gasket, new plug seals. So, we'll go ahead, get it back on, and I can show you the bolts. Okay, so for the bolts, all I did is I took it to my bench grinder, which has a wire wheel. I wire wheeled these up like really nicely. There's like still a little bit of rust, like some spots I couldn't get, but I mean they're cleaned up. My master kit that I got for my gaskets also came with the new gaskets or seals, whatever you would want to call these, for the valve cover. One bolt was really boogered up, so I just used another one. I'm not 100% sure where all the bolts really went, and I really don't care. I know in the corners there was 2. I know in the center here, these ones were the flatheads. I know this was a not a stud. I'm pretty sure this one was too. But to me, it really don't matter because in the end, worst comes worst, I can just take them back out. But I'm not too worried about it. But I'm going to go ahead and get these tightened down, get the torque spec, that way you guys know, and get ready and we can put this down. So dummy me, I didn't order new spark plugs. I'm going to here probably next week. or at this point in time, whenever this video's up, it'll be, I don't know, maybe I'll already have them. But anyway, these spark plugs really ain't that bad. So I'm just going to wire wheel them up a little bit, get them cleaned up like how this one is. This one's not 100% done. And then I'll take some brake cleaner and use the air line and just blow it up, make sure they're nice and clean. Instead of like packing either paper towel, rag, or something inside the holes, I'm just going to put the spark plugs in. But I figured cleaning them is better than just throwing them in dirty. Or if I just don't have the opportunity to get the plugs this time, at least I know they'll be decently cleaned. I already have one in, but I figured put this on. The torque specs for the valve cover, you start off at 4.5 Newton meters, which in my case, I couldn't do it on my digital. So I just kind of snugged them down a little bit, and then I was able to do step 2, which was 9, and then the next one was 12. I will, to tighten them, the sequence is quite easy. I started, granted we're backwards, but I started here in the center, and then I came up here, and I went to this corner, down to this corner, up to that corner, down to this corner, and then it was this guy, and then this guy, and then I kind of snugged them down just a little wee bit, like, to where there's enough pressure on it, and then I started doing my torquing. When I stated earlier how I couldn't do the 4.5, whenever I went and put it on 9 and I started going and I got to the point where like the number didn't rise anymore, it was actually 4.2, and pretty much that was just my wrist. So that's good. And then I was able to do my 9 and then 12. I'm going to finish getting these spark plugs cleaned up, fill up my coffee cup, and get ready to keep going. And now the spark plugs are in. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the next step is, I think I'm going to get ready to do the timing. I think that'd be a good idea. Okay, so I took some time and I got the inside covers all nice and cleaned up. They're wiped out. Soaked them in degreaser, took my fine brush and gave them a good scrubbing and washed them off with water. And then I just laved them dry. I got the tensioner put back in. I got the idler pulley back in. I got the 2 exhaust cams. So now we're going to get ready to install the timing belt. One thing to keep in mind, your exhaust side needs to be at least a half a tooth below. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to readjust this. They moved a little. I need to drop this side down just a little wee bit. And then somehow try to hold these. I just might use vice grips. Since I don't have the appropriate tool. And I already have them torqued down good, so. But let me get these adjusted and we'll get ready to put the timing belt on. I know this might not be the smartest way, but the exhaust cam, which is on the right, or the left, is just about a half a tooth off. The reason you want it to be a half a tooth off is whenever you put the belt on and start the tension, it will actually raise the exhaust. That way everything is correct. I do have my crank off just a little wee bit. I want to try to do it the first time. But I know having this off just a little wee bit, let's see if I can get a better angle. I might have to turn it just a little wee bit. But anyway, whenever it goes to tightening the belt, then everything will shift. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. So I should have left the crank alone because I am just one off. Just one. But my cams are good. So, and I already spun it over twice after the tensioner was tightened, which it's needing to be adjusted now. It moved. Okay. But, well, don't matter anyway. I'm going to have to take the belt off. But I was hoping to get it on the first try. Oh well. Well, unfortunately, this one is still off too. I've been working at this pretty much all day. I think maybe it's just time to give it up for the night. Tomorrow I work, so I'll be going all weekend. Maybe start fresh next week. The exhaust is supposed to be turned down, and then this intake's supposed to come down just a little wee bit. And then the exhaust needs to be about a half a tooth below the intake. And all of that gets set. And then the crank is also set. I've noticed that whenever I go to slip it over the tensioner, it'll roll over. So I adjusted for that. It's usually one tooth, so I turned it back a tooth. It's still doing this. I'm going to look into it just a little bit more. But we'll see you soon. Well, guys, I finally got it. It's been many days. I don't have a whole lot as to the more that I've done videoed. It kind of stressed me out a little bit. So more assembly has been done to the motor, and the motor looks really, really good. Before I show you, I'll just go into a little bit of detail. The turbo's been cleaned. All the lines have been cleaned. The timing has been set correctly now. So that's been done. A lot of cleanup for other parts and painting has been done. I'm just trying to get this motor as clean as I possibly can. But turbo's cleaned. I got my blow off plate and my blow off valve. It's on. Those things are set. I did order a gasket, but I don't know if I ever got it for that plate. So for now I just have it RTV till either I find it, which it's not with my other parts. So I need to contact Modern Performance for that. The exhaust manifold's been put on. The coolant lines are on. The oil lines are on for the turbo. I started cleaning the wastegate up, but I couldn't get it looking right, so I stopped. I'm not painting it. What else has been done? The covers were put on. The center motor mount bracket, I guess you can call it, is on. I guess I'll just show you. So not much has been done to this side. Those parts actually I am working with now, like the intake over here. Parts that I've been cleaning. These coolant lines here, those got all wire wheeled down. They're painted. I'm working with the hoses now. Most of them are good. I only found one that I should replace. Well, I need to replace. The other ones I should, but at this time I'm not going to. But let's move some of this stuff. I even got the 2.4, all that wire brushed off. I need to do a little bit more there. But there might be a change with this. That might be happening today. Which I'm not going to show you guys until the next video. This video here is just going to be just a quick update. Nothing too fancy added to it. But it really, in my opinion, it does look really, really good. I need to clean this off one more time before I put the gasket on, and then I can start getting ready to put the intake on. My next project I'm going to work with is my wiring harness. But yeah, my opinion, that looks really, really good. And I need a better camera. This just makes it look too bright. Let's unplug the light. See if that's any better. It still looks really, that looks better. But that's all been cleaned up. I should pull this off and clean that, but I'm not going to. My kids ran off with it the one time, so. But yeah, it's coming along quite well, I think. It's been a very slow process, that's for sure. I have other parts that are cleaned up. My next part that's going to be a pain in the butt is going to be my alternator, because I want it to look good. Finish the accessories, and the motor should be done. Sadly, a buddy of mine donated a nice oil, somebody has it, a nice oil cap, and it's just a tad too big. It won't work for my setup, and it would match the motor. It was orange, so but yeah, lots of cleanup done. Wire brushed all the wheel or bolts. Got that nut looking nice. I gotta get a PCV valve and finish some other parts, and it's done. And then car comes in. Just a quick little update. I got the lines on. I still have some of these lines a little loose as well. That way whenever I put the oil cooler on, which I'm cleaning right now, I can move the hoses and don't have to worry about anything being twisted or anything. Got some Teflon tape on that guy too. Got these two bolts all nice and cleaned up. Tried to get this tube as clean as I could. So probably putting too much work into this, but in the end maybe it'll be worth it. One of the brackets that go for the alternator was all completely crusty. There's still some that I couldn't get into, like in there. I'm going to try scraping it also there too. But wire wheel in this really brought the... looks quite nice. I also have... I even took the oil cooler off my old motor. For the new one, somehow the oil cooler was cracked at the one line. I wasn't going to attempt to repair it, so since I have another one, I'm just going to use it. Right now I have it soaking in cleaner. I'm going to get it cleaned up, maybe wire wheel it, get it nice and shiny too, get it on. But a lot of it's just now small stuff, so keep going. Well, we're going to do some changes. There's a new trend going on where you put Dawn dish soap after you paint something, and then you can put different colors and designs. Well, Moose has the idea. He wants to try it, so he put forth the items needed to do it. So we're going to do it to my valve cover here, which I'm kind of glad. It looked kind of poopy before. And we're going to also do the intake manifold. So still need to freshen this up for when I put the new gasket on, get everything bolted up. I need to get the throttle body cleaned out, so I needed to do that regardless, so it's off. So everything kind of worked out good. It'll definitely be freshened up, that's for damn sure. It's definitely looking a lot better now, more of a motor. I got the alternator all cleaned up. I got the crank pulley all cleaned up, got it painted, got the belt on. What else? Over here's been nothing really new there. And not a whole heck of a lot done here either. A lot of it's just been trying to get everything freshened up. I got the axle carrier, whatever the hell you want to call it, on. The alternator's on, the brackets are done. The belt is tightened up. Right now, my next step, and I'm still waiting for parts to finish getting cleaned up, get the last few accessories on, the power steering pump, and get the power steering pump on, get some other parts put on, and then make sure all my hose clamps are tightened. Until I get the engine on a cherry picker and drop down, put somewhere else or something, I can't finish my lines here and get those buttoned up. But every bolt so far too has also been getting cleaned up, and then it's been painted, but this one was still kind of tacky, and when I put those bolts back in, it kind of made that one poopy, but you can't see it anyways. But the other bolts, been wire wheeling them off with the bench grinder, just trying to keep everything as clean as possible. Granted, it's probably not even worth it, but just means that I put more effort into it. But I'm happy so far. Well, here's a little bit more of an update. The lower part of the intake manifold's ready. I got the injectors in, fuel rails cleaned up. I'm working on the wiring harness right now. That way I can go ahead and get the injectors plugged back in. I just got, you can't see, I'll grab a light. But I got new spark plugs put in, so those are done. Just another quick little refresh for myself. That don't need to stay on there. I'm really hoping to finish the motor up today. Today's the 7th, I think, of July. So this has been a very long time. But there's still, again, a few more parts to button up. Once I finish the harness, which it's just about done, I'm getting it cleaned up and cutting some broken plugs off and using from the other harness from the junkyard, getting it and just using those plugs that I need to go ahead and replace the ones that I need to. As you can see, down here hasn't been done yet. Like, still there, here. These ones are already done. Those actually turned out a lot better than I thought. But I'm going to get them all nice and cleaned up. I've been trying to get this braid all cleaned up the best that I can. Try to get the oil and other muck out of it. I'm using contact cleaner. Still got some tape to replace here, but I already replaced those tape, got that cleaned up, especially for this ground for the back of the alternator. So, a little bit of progress, but this will be finished up. I just have one more to finish up, plus the coil wire. But like I said, I'm trying to get this braid. You can kind of see how this looks crappy, and then here looks a lot cleaner. That don't look too bad. I might give this one more wipe. But again, it's still progress. In the last clip I just watched before I started recording this, I also noticed that the valve cover was off. And that was when I was wanting to try this Just Soap design. I didn't pay for it. Josh, aka Moose, who was in my Jeep video, provided that. He thought it'd be something cool to really make it pop. And in person, I mean, I think it does look pretty good, especially since I taped the letters and all the numbers off and stuff. I wire wheeled them first, taped them. That took forever. But I'd like to do a clear coat on this, but I don't want to take no chances of any damage happening anywhere. But yep, all my cooling lines, try to get them cleaned up the best that I could. Even got the hoses all nice and clean, new clamps. I even got the collet bolts. I wire wheeled the hell out of them, got them all cleaned up, and then I painted those. Again, like at the back side of the manifold here, these are just wire wheeled. I'm not painting them. You can't see them. I don't even know why I painted this guy, but it's just a little extra details that makes me feel better. You know, putting a lot of time and effort into this, so I really hope I done this right. at least build-wise. But I'm gonna go back and finish up this wiring harness, give you a little bit of an update, and then we can put the intake fold on after the injectors are all plugged in, and well, we'll really see how it looks. I'm crossing my fingers. I think it's going to look good, especially since the valve cover paint pretty much now matches what my block is, minus we did like a little bit of a smoke because it was just too much orange, a lot of orange. But all new gaskets and everything so far too, so fingers crossed. Well, might not be pretty, but it should work. I need to tape this one up, and yeah, I just got to finish taping this injector plug up. They're all soldered. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start getting these plugged in. Well, there would be. It's definitely not freaking pretty, but it should do. Then I can just wrap this around and do the alternator. And then this plug, there's a wiring harness that comes from the car that runs up. Actually, I think it goes down like this, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember. But I know this plugs into a plug that runs in front of the car. These are all plugged in now. Time to tinker with the intake and get those bolts. Those are already cleaned up and painted, looking good. So we'll get that on. But first, we need to get the coil pack cleaned up and get it bolted on. So we'll be back. I'm still working on the coil pack, but I figured go ahead and start getting the alternator hooked up, which it's hooked up here. Got that tucked in. This thing won't tuck in very nicely. Plus, I don't want to put too much stress on my wiring harness, but as long as that's in, should be good. Also, I am not sure what this is. I did read that it helps with, like, when you turn your headlights on, it cuts the static out of your radio. I don't know. If anybody has an answer for that, for sure, let me know. But, yep. It's coming along. Well, coil pack's cleaned up, plug wires are on. Cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully that's done correctly. Looked it up real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, here's the firing order. I had to look it up just to ensure I was doing this correct. So, but let's go ahead and get the intake put on. Alright, just a little bit of an update. We got the intake on. Nice and shiny letters. It took me a while to get all that tape off. What else? I got the bracket for the power steering on. I originally had the power steering pump on, but then again, I forgot about this thermostat housing, so all that had to be pulled back off. So now the thermostat housing's on, the top's on, thermostat's in, radiator hose is in right here. I need to adjust these hoses a little bit, get them tightened down, and then that's finished. But after that, I'm going to go ahead and put the power steering pump back on. And then I can go ahead and start getting some of these other hose clamps tightened down. Well, in the middle of working, we lost power. We have one hell of a thunderstorm. So I will try to do what I can in the dark. And we're back. We finally got power. Power came back on just about 1 o'clock this morning. Today's goal is to get the motor finished up. That's the AC compressor, the starter, the throttle body. I want to get it cleaned up and get it installed. I have a sensor over there. Get it done. It just needs cleaned up. For right now, I'm just using the sensors that was on the old motor just because I knew those ones worked. Minus the crank positioning sensor, and I think the oil pressure sensor. I'm pretty sure I replaced it too. Yes, oil pressure sensor has been replaced as well. Mainly, like I said, it's just buttoning up a few things and getting the car brought in. That's my goal for today. But yeah. So a few years ago, I needed an 18mm line wrench, and I didn't have one with me, so I ended up using one of my old ones. And I was gonna throw it away because this end is like useless now, like to try to break other bolts. And this one, it just rounds everything. But I'm kind of glad that I kept it, because at the scrapyard I cut this power steering line. I already had it broke loose, but I figured I wanted to add that. Since I don't have a whole heck of a lot of like assembly videos, well, clips for this video. But so you guys can see, the oil dipsticks on, bolted down, power steering pump all cleaned up, looking good. I did not paint this, I just religiously cleaned it. The thermostat housing is all cleaned up. I need to clean that sensor. But I'll give you a quick little tour around it. I know some of this is already on here, but just to kind of refresh your memory. I wish I could have got this a lot cleaner, but I was kind of limited. Oh well, you ain't gonna see that. Harness is done, coils on, bolted down, plugged in. I'm gonna get the EGR up on real quick. The screws for it, they're T-Torque, or for the EGR valve, the screws are a T20. Shame this one broke. Now we're back. Got another T20 bit. I'm just going to finish tightening this up since my screwdriver broke. Now, this guy should be about ready to go on. Which I might have to cut another sensor or another plug. So this one actually worked out well for me. I wanted to do it with the injectors. It just fought and everything kept wanting to break. But I tried with the old plug to pop the old, get the pins out. They came out easy, and surprisingly so did out of the other wiring harness. So instead of cutting and splicing, this is actually completely solid. But but yeah, she's not slipping off like the other one was. I think next step is going to be, I don't know, maybe get the starter bolted on. Yeah, I think that's what we might do next, is get the starter bolted. Maybe not actually, because I need the parts, I need a few things from the other motor. So yeah, that's going to actually have to wait. Crap. Because it'll go right here. Actually, that probably will have to wait till the transmission is put on. Here's some more taped over holes. Just pop them out real quick. Yeah, they're really sticky. But I tried my best. How's it looking, Matthew? You like it? You think our viewers that watch like it?
Why do you get that on here? Why do you get that on here?
So I know what goes where.
Oh.
Let's get back to work. Well, got the throttle body cleaned up. Try to get as much of this out. I did try to brush it, but this is a pain in the ass. Even with taking the idler air control out and taking the throttle positioning sensor, it was still a pain in the butt. But got it put back together. Got all any residue and stuff that might have been inside. That's all cleaned up. Backside's cleaned up. So I did try to paint this bracket. But it just mostly turned gray. Maybe there's too much clear coat. I know I had it shook well enough. That's for sure. And there was no grease or anything left on it, so. But I think the next part I'm going to get ready to do is the oil cooler. Get that ready so I can get the oil lines hooked up to it, and maybe we can try to turn it over again and see if we can get some oil put in it. Well, guys, this has been a long time coming. Oh, very long. This took way too long. There's very few things that just need to be buttoned up, which I'll just show you, but most of that needs to be done on the car. I'm not going to use the air conditioning, at least not right now. I'm missing some stuff for it, and I didn't get them from the scrapyard, and I really regret that now. I needed new lines, which I actually have those, but a while back, well, last summer, I had to do the heater core, and while doing that, there's these two Torx bits that go into the firewall, and well, I lost those. So but this one is kind of boogered up anyways, so I have another one for whenever I do get the AC going and stuff, just to switch over. So I got it wiped up the best I could, got it cleaned up. Next step is I just need to take the motor off the engine stand. I need to swap the flywheels and these those little shields. Switch those and the flywheel, and it's ready to go into the car. I might be changing my plan with the car a little bit. I really wanted to repaint the entire firewall. There's a possibility I might do that. I don't know. I just want to see if all this hard work pays off. I'm still kind of skeptical, but I took my time, a lot of time. I mean, I even went through and scrubbed parts that probably within the first 100 miles won't have any paint on. It was a waste of my time, but still, like, I went through and took that extra time. Like, I used a paint pen and painted the letters for my cap. I got this completely scrubbed up, looking really nice again. I wire wheeled pretty much every single bolt on this motor. It's got all new gaskets. It's got new crank bearings. The cylinders were honed. Like, everything got cleaned. Like the turbo, I do have the heat shields to throw on, but one needs fixed, and I want to wait a little bit for that, which I'm going to start that process soon. I know this video took a long time to get brought out, so I don't know how soon I'll have another video, which I think that video, the next one, it's probably just going to be and looking over the firewall, checking the wiring, making sure everything's good, and getting it cleaned. Because if I don't go and paint it, then, you know, that's more time saved, but gets me closer to have the car done. I also have new motor mounts and transmission mounts that I need to get installed. So that'll be done once the car's in. I need to get my exhaust finished, which I just need to cut the welded part of where the flex pipe is, take that off, and the flange, and have my buddy weld it for me. He went to school for it, so he fucks up. Robbie, you better watch out, buddy. I know where you live, and I know where you work. Just kidding. But yes, finally, it is done. Basically now it just needs hooked up, put in the car. I know I said this a long time ago in past videos, but yeah, here's that brand new accessory, serpentine, whatever you want to call it, belt. I bought it that day, and the car caught fire. So, just some goodies. Here's my aftermarket air intake. It's a cheapie. So we'll see how that does. There's my mounts. And my center mount, which even comes with a new Torx T55 bolt. Pretty snazzy. Here's my parts box. It's just bolts that go onto the car. Some of them are actually just spare old junk bolts that managed just to stay here. But the other parts of the car that I'm working on right now is the radiator core support underneath. I'm not painting the top radiator. Painting the top rad support, I'm just going to get it as clean as I can. Parts that like that you probably really won't see, especially like these stickers. I don't feel like taping over that. I'm just going to get it cleaned up. Paint scheme has actually changed a little bit. I'm not going to say, but I think yins will like it. A plan that I'd really like to do before the motor goes in is I want to get like another fitting. That way I can run this oil pressure sensor and have my gauge hooked up, because I can't find any other place that's good enough, and I don't want a sandwich plate. So, and also this wire for the oil sensor, the other parts should still be on the car, so all I have to do is just a quick wire, get those connected, and then that's done. And then just put everything back together. I still do have the vac lines over here that came from the scrapyard car. So everything's pretty much just going to be a quick, easy plug and play. I'm also going to add my boost gauge, which I'm just going to tee into this line here, which connects to the top of the throttle body, which is right here. So that's how my boost gauge is going to run. And I have extra, I have an extra intercooler, an extra radiator, which I was going to sell the radiator and the fan, but I'm probably just going to keep that in case I ever need it. Just knowing my luck. And I got the extra charge pipe and hot pipe. So, and they actually look a little bit better shaped than what mine is. So I'm probably just going to put them on. But the radiators, both of them look the same. Pretty much brand new. So I also want to get the intercooler. I'd like to at least wire wheel it, but I can get my hands on a polisher now. So maybe that'll be a future video, polishing the intercooler. I think that'd be kind of neat. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to thank everybody that's actually watching this. If you're new, please check out my other videos. They're okay. This one will probably be my worst because I've cut so much out because I didn't record anything. I just kind of got stressed at the point that there's so much and wanting to film it correctly, but yet still do the job correctly. I don't really want to mess anything up, so I'm sorry for the last little bit of this video, but it will get better. I'm just glad that it's finally done. I mean, I started this a while back, and today is June 8th. It's a Thursday. This would have been done last night, but unfortunately we lost power, so. But, as always, thank you. If you're new, like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe. We're on the road to 500. I do have a giveaway at 500. Whether you use it, it's just something that I have, and I'm not going to need it, so give it away to somebody. Which, to find out what that is, check out the video where I start tearing down the car to pull the motor out. And I mean, if it's something you want, you know, if you're the winner, you win it. And stay tuned for the next one. My goal was to have the car done by the end of the month. I think it can be done. Next week I don't have a lot of plans, so, and the wife already knows I want to get the car in, so unfortunately for the next couple of days, you know, here after the 9th, I'm going to be at work. So Monday, I'm hoping to have the car in. And I'm just going to go to town, get it done as fast as I can, but still do a nice job, especially with the paint. I know there's going to be quite a few things that I'm going to have to do, like take the mirrors off, try to get those chrome pieces off. My tail lights, well, that'll be easy. I'm looking for tail lights for my car. If you have an extra set, let me know. I know a few people that have them, but they've never got back to me as in price. So, and the couple scrapyards that are close to me now, they don't have any cars, even the one I got the motor from, so that's a bust. And I really don't feel like spending a lot of money online to get them, so if you have a good price, let me know. But as always, thank you. We'll see you next time.